Hey everyone, welcome to Empower Team Monday Night Call. I'm Sapphire Brand Ambassador Natalie Dolan, and I am so excited for this month. We had another amazing month in April, and May is going to continue to be insane because we got it going on this team. So a little bit about our announcements really quick. Okay. So a part of our team system is that every Thursday, we have an event on Thursday. It is a simple system that you can remember and you can plug people into. The first Thursday of every month, we do Know Your Perks. And so that is going over just everything that comes with being a VIP customer, everything that you can expect with getting started on the products, all those sorts of things. The second Thursday, we're doing a health and happiness live in our group, Health and Happiness with Plexus, just going over the products. The third Thursday, we're doing the Business of Gut Health, which is a business opportunity focused event. And then in that same group, and then another product focused event with Health and Happiness live on that, on the 26th. So just so you know, that's coming up. It will be, I'm finishing up our team cover photo, but all the important information is always on the team cover photo. So that will be done by tonight. And then every Monday we have team call at 8:30, Pink Power team call after that, which is our bigger group that we're a part of, our bigger team that we're a part of, and that is at 9. And just so you know, May 15th is the last day to register for convention. Very, 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 very important. I could do a whole entire team call about how everything will change. It is a business investment when you go to convention. It is invaluable. I personally have only ever missed one event. I've never missed a convention ever, and only missed one event ever in my business because my husband was deployed. Okay. And that was just one time in the past 6 years. So leaders are born at events, period. End of story. If you prioritize your business, you will get to convention. If you want to rank up, there are crazy statistics surrounding ranking up and getting to convention. What is it? 30, I don't know. What is it? Like 33% of people will rank up right after going to convention. So very important. Okay. So that's what I've got for announcements. Yeah. So tonight's team call, we are doing, and I do want to just preface this by saying we may go over time a little bit on this team call. I want to reiterate the importance of still making it to the Pink Power team call afterward. And we're not going to be making a habit of being late. But this is very important. And so we're making an exception this time, but I want you guys to always prioritize getting extra training from additional leaders that have even more, a lot of the times on these calls have even more business experience than us. So make that a priority. Okay, so this team call is all about what we really wanted to do is we wanted to share with you guys. We have so many new people and we wanted to share with y'all the heart behind our why, and so that you can see really what this means to a lot of the leaders on this team. Why are we doing Plexus? Why are we here? Right? It's so much more than just signing people up, right? Oh, I gotta join. Our numbers are going all around. This is so much more than numbers and goals for us. And so while you are listening to our whys, I want you to start thinking about your own why. Why am I really doing this? What do I really want out of life? If my life had no limits, what would my life look like? What could my life look like if I decided to let myself dream bigger? And so we're going to be digging deeper into this. And so if something really resonates with you, just jot that down. Okay. If somebody says something that just really gets you, write that down so you can really develop a deeper, more meaningful why. Okay. Because your why is what gets you through on the days when somebody says no and you feel bad, or when the joins aren't coming in, or where you don't see what's going to happen in the future, or when you hit a roadblock or you need to do more growth. Your why is a big part of what will anchor you. Okay. And so that needs to be developed and that needs to mature over time. And so you'll hear about how my why has matured over the years as well. Okay. So I'm going to start off, I'll kick us off. I want to dig into my why. When I was going through my photos today, I took a screenshot and I want to show you guys this picture that I took on May 26th, 2016, which is 6 years ago. I had just started my Plexus business and I rolled up to the WIC office. And I was getting out of my car and I was about to walk up and I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. And so I took a picture of the front of the office and I literally drew my line in the sand and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Not doing it. I had been on WIC since I was 18 years old. And at that point I was 26. I was 25. I was 25 when I started my business and I had been on WIC since I was 18. Okay. And I just decided, no, I want more for my life. And I was grateful for it. I needed it all those years. It was super big blessing, not talking down about WIC and government assistance when you need it. But I just decided there was more for me and there was more for my family. And I knew that. And so I want to show you guys the picture that I took. Here is the picture that I literally took and saved in my phone. And I was just like, this is it. This is the last time I'm ever going back. And that was the last time I ever went back. Okay. Because I had found something that gave me hope. Okay. So I want to start off. So there's that. I'm starting my timer so I don't go too long. But when I started my business, I was 25 years old. I had just had my third son. My body was, was a wreck. I wasn't feeling good. I had health issues. My whole life, just like gut health issues and blood sugar issues and hormone issues and skin issues and all those sorts of things. And I wanted more for my health, right? I wanted to be the best mother that I could be for my family. And so, I was at the point, my husband's military, for those who don't know, and he was in extensive training for years. And I kind of found myself at this place where I knew that there was untapped gifts and talents inside of me. I knew that I wanted to use my talents for something bigger than me. And I was in college. I was going to school for dental hygiene. That was my plan. The reasons behind wanting to do that were I wanted to help people because I know people were really anxious at dentist's office. I wanted to help people, maybe not feel so anxious, which I did end up doing, just not in the dental office. But I wanted to have something that, when we moved with the military, somewhere where I could still find a job. And I figured there were dentist office everywhere. I wanted to be able to have part-time hours because I still wanted to go to field trips with my kids. I didn't want to miss out and I wanted to make good enough money where it was worth my time. Okay. And so those were my reasons for wanting to do that. And then I found Plexus and I decided, and I'm not encouraging, stopping your education. That's not what I'm encouraging. But for me, I was like, you know what? I can have this and even more in Plexus if I really just go all in. I can have complete time freedom. I can have complete financial freedom. I can help so many more people in so many more ways with this. And so I needed something for me at that point in my life. I needed something that I could work on, that I could take pride in, that I could make an impact with. And so I decided to just draw my line and go all in with Plexus. I started watching everything and reading everything. And I knew that if I went all in and made a decision, I believed the people that went before me when they said, if you go all in and you decide to be successful. You will be successful. If you grow and you keep on going, eventually you will be successful. And so that's what I did. Okay. And so my first goal was getting off of Wick. I was like, you know, I want to get my products paid for and I want to get off of Wick so bad. I am so tired of this. And I always hated grocery shopping, let alone using the Wick checks. The cool thing is I now order groceries and get my groceries delivered, and I never go to the grocery, and I order all organic, and I never go to the grocery store now. So, I mean, that's a little win in itself, you know, just being able to have that little life upgrade, that means a lot to me. Being able to order my groceries and have them delivered, that means a lot to me. That was such a luxury back then. And so now that I'm a Sapphire ambassador, second highest rank in the company, making 5 figures a month, my why has evolved, right? I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to have greater influence, all of that. But now what my why is my why is finding more people that want more, that are hungry for more in their life, and showing them how to do this too. I want this lifestyle for more people, to never have to worry about money. I want that for people, to be able to have purpose and meaning. I want that for people. I love my every single day life. I don't dread Mondays. I don't live for the weekends. I am enjoying my daily life because of Plexus. And I will say that Plexus has taken every single aspect of my life and made it better. God has used Plexus to take every aspect of my life to make it better. And when I say my marriage, my parenting, my health, my finances, my everyday experience of life, the fullness that I have, all the, the traveling and the friendships and the community, Plexus has made every single part of my life better. And I want that for more people. And so that is my why now, just to bring more people up with me, because this is amazing for people who take a look at it. I've gone over time. Tova is going next.
Okay, I'm gonna try to not go over time. All right, guys. One thing kind of what Natalie said is your whys evolve. And I feel like it took me a long time to actually dig down to my why. I am a numbers person. I am kind of money oriented, not in a bad way, but I want to be successful. I want to have that for my family. And I kind of thought, as soon as I saw this business opportunity, originally I was here to feel better. And of course, I want to make other people feel better. But initially, for the first year, I just sent my friends and family to Natalie because I wanted them to feel better health-wise. And when the business opportunity clicked on for me and I saw what was possible, the business success that was possible was what I originally thought my why was. And really, like, to be successful financially. That's originally what I thought it was. And that's a very surface layer. But as I dug into it, really thought about it, and I encourage you to do that. It takes work and it takes time and it's emotional to really dig down. And what that ended up meaning for me, and one word that just keeps coming up again and again, is freedom. And so that means something really different to everybody. But, originally it was freedom from feeling bad and freedom from prescription medicines. But really what it opened up to me is freedom from, I realized there were so many things in my life that I was making decisions through a lens of limitation. It was limitations on money. Where were we going to go for vacation? What kind of birthdays were we going to do? Who were we going to travel and see? It was always through a lens of, well, how much is that going to cost? Well, we have to pay for this first or that first. That's a limiting lens that I didn't want to feel anymore. Which memories did I need to choose with my kids? Guys, every year with shift work, you have to work half the holidays as a shift worker. So I would write them out and I would weigh which memories are more important for me to have with my kids. I was done with that. I did it for 20 years, did it for 10 years of my kids' life. I didn't want that anymore. So I began chasing freedom for myself. And I've succeeded in that, and I'm continuing to succeed in that. And really about 2 years ago, I think I realized it was lighting me up and became my literal mission to show other people, really specifically women, that you don't have to be enslaved or entrapped to your limits. And I think of freedom, and what's the opposite of feeling free? Feeling like backed into a corner and trapped. People feel that way with their debt. People feel that way with spending time with their kids. What are they going to do for retirement? People are choosing where they're going to move to, not because they want to live there based on a job and which jobs have benefits and all this stuff. They're not. They've resigned themselves to settle in. And this life is too good, and there's too many possibilities. I refuse to settle, and I refuse to let the people that I care about and me settle. And I want them to make informed decisions. That's my big thing always, like, make whatever decision you want, but you need all the facts. And it is my responsibility to share this with people, to show them that they can have access to time freedom. They can have access to health freedom. They can have access to money freedom. And a big thing with your why, it's often like, my thing that I always come back to is, what are you willing to give up? And I am willing to stay up late and get up early to help someone not feel regret, to not look back and be like, I wish I could have been there for those memories. I wish I could have taken my kids on that. I wish I could have paid for the more expensive college that she really wanted to go to. That stuff, guys. And just freedom, really, in the end, I love watching hope turn back on for people. There's a tipping point where they see the opportunity and they want to believe me. And if I have enough buy-in with them, they'll come and try it, but they're nervous that, like, maybe this isn't going to work out for me just the way that it's worked out for her. And when they start succeeding and realizing, like, I wasn't BSing them, that this hope starts to click on and they're able to start to dream again, dreams that they haven't allowed themselves to dream since they were little, because we don't like to feel disappointed. So the ability to free people from stuff that has, in essence, trapped them mentally and financially is why I show up every single day.
So good. Oh my gosh, let me set this timer. I feel super emotional. If there is no purpose, if you feel like there is not a purpose for why you're doing this, then you will feel burned out and you won't have the fuel necessary when you do have a hard day. And we do have them. We do have hard days. We do have days where we're frustrated. And that's why we're emphasizing the importance of this. I didn't get it. For a long time, I didn't get it. Natalie would sit with me and be like, what's your why? And I'm like, I don't know. Because like Tova said, I was so afraid to dream. I was so afraid to think beyond myself. And, my husband and I, we would talk about things, but in the back of my mind, I was like, how are we going to do that? How are we going to pull that off? How are we going to, start this nonprofit? How are we going to do that? Because I had to grow in the area of this poverty mindset that I had. I'm an inner city kid. Okay. I grew up listening to my parents argue and fight about money and not having enough money my whole entire life. So I was just happy with the fact that I graduated college and that I was just doing the right things. I was going to find a good job, and I did. I found a good job. Then I married a military guy. And then I was still in this, like, just survive, like, just do what you need to do to survive. It was what I was taught that. And so for me to sit down and write a why was very difficult. And if you're having a hard time with that, go to your sponsor and they will kind of help you unravel this, because it's very complicated. If you grew up not really dreaming, if you grew up not really seeing this for yourself. I didn't see it for myself. I really didn't. I was doing the things, but I was like, could I really do it? And for a long time, I realized that, like, when I was a silver, I thought, well, I'll just help people feel better. That was literally my why. Like, I'll just help, and yes, it's a part of what we do, But I couldn't see beyond that. And so your why will expand with every rank and promotion. I will say that. So just know that where you are right now, you can dream there. Like you can sit down and you are safe to dream. It's okay. It's a very vulnerable thing to sit down and write what you want to do, or sit down with your spouse and write down what are our dreams. It's not easy. And for me, I had to really dig. My husband and I, we do ministry. We have done ministry. We were doing ministry full time. I mean, at one point, my Plexus income was like the only thing we could really count on, because we were living by faith. When you start a nonprofit, I mean, that was our goal, was just how do we kickstart this? And so that became my why. And then we kickstarted it, and I'm like, okay, now what? Now, okay, so we did this thing, now we got through that season. And so it does take time to develop, and it will develop with each promotion. But I will say now, to be honest, my why is to be debt free. Like that is my why. And I'm totally content with that right now. Do we have dreams of adoption? Absolutely, we do. That's not, we're not going to do that right now, but that is definitely a dream of ours. To expand our nonprofit, that is also a dream of ours. To do more mission work, that is definitely a dream of ours. And I have it all written down, right? But right now, my why is to be debt free, to have that financial freedom, to not owe anyone any money. That is like so freeing for me. And to be honest, a big part of my why has been to prove, right, like even now, even in the last year, to prove to myself that I can do this. To prove to myself that I can do this, to trust God and the abilities and the gifts that He's given me, to trust that, and to say, I can do more with that, God. I can do more with that. And so that right now is where I'm at, just trusting God, and to like, okay, I'm going to prove to myself that I do have what it takes. And I was like literally crying before this, just writing that down, like even writing that down again. And it goes deep. It goes deep to be able to prove to yourself that you can do this, especially if you didn't have a lot of belief in yourself. I didn't have a lot of belief in myself doing this. And so yeah, just wanted to share that. And I did want to say what if you're in book club, what we're going over this good leaders ask great questions. And in there, John Maxwell says, you don't have to burn out if you're fueled with passion and purpose. You don't have to feel that. And so if you're starting to feel any of that, I just encourage you, get back and set a purpose on purpose, because that's going to really, really fuel you.
Wow. Okay. That was amazing. I'll tell you what, I have not gotten this nervous speaking on a call in a while, and just thinking about what I was going to talk about tonight. When they say your why brings you to tears, I am a blubbering hot mess right now. I'm going to lay it out there right now. So when I start snotting, don't judge me. When Natalie said she was afraid to dream, I was the complete opposite. I dreamt all day long. I knew what I wanted. I loved everything that I wanted to do. I was so afraid to fail that I never took the plunge. So I knew, just being military and just having some significant childhood, I wanted wholehearted to have stability in parenting, in protection, and just feeling safe in their environment. And I never wanted them to not feel that. So I made it my job to make sure I gave them that. When my husband was deployed, mommy was there. When my husband had to go out in the field, or when the family had to leave, mommy was there. I was that rock. But in order to do that, I had to give up my dreams. I had 2 college degrees that I earned working. Even I started working at 14. I bought my own car. I bought my own cell phone. If I wanted it, I bought it. And not providing for my family gave me anxiety. It made me feel a lack in what I knew I was destined to do. So not providing for my family, even though I was a great mom, I had young children, twins right off, I got sick. So then I felt like everything God had planned for me and everything that I built for myself was just washed away. And at that moment, I felt like I failed. And here we go. I never want to feel that way, and to have to live with that within themselves and feel like this mom that gets up every single day, this educated woman who has gone to college, who has put her best foot forward, has failed. And that's not true. And Plexus gave that all back to me. It gave me a platform to stand on. It gave me that positive posture to give back. It helped me to never let anybody else fail. You know, it really just gave me that opportunity to be secure, be home with my kids, let them know mommy is there, but mommy is providing as well. God forbid something happened to my husband. Mommy's there, mommy can provide. I am there and I'm not sick anymore. And that is the biggest blessing of it all, is to just feel secure in my own skin that I can do this for my family. So I say this in as as straight face as I can. It's over my dead body that I will ever fail again, and I will be a diamond, and there's just no other option. So that is my why.
Hey guys. Okay, I know my voice is a little raspy, so hang in there with me tonight. Natalie said she likes my voice like this, so maybe you guys will too. But my name is Kylie, and just kind of going after all of you guys, I'm like, man, I hope my story's good. Because literally listening to all of these women, they're part of like what keeps me going. They're part of my circle of friends that on those hard days, you have those people that add value and that just push you. And so I'm very thankful for all of them. And I hope that all these stories really resonate with you guys to let you know that you can do this too. But kind of just talking about my story and my why, I kind of want to go back to when I was a little girl, because I had these conflicting narratives growing up based on what I knew God had called me to do in life, or like the calling he had placed on my life, versus how I grew up and like how I was supposed to be. And I remember my first encounter with God when I was little. I was under the pew, and you know, I got bored in church, and I was under the pew, like flipping the pages. But something about what the preacher had said that day really resonated with me. And from that day forward, I really I loved the Lord. I would seek after him. And I was like, man, God has really something for me. And for a really long time, you guys, I would always say that I don't have a story. Like, I don't have anything to share for, like, to encourage anybody. I don't have a testimony, you know, but I do. And it's not until my later on stages in life that I've been like, oh my gosh, like looking back at how I grew up and all these things I've had to unlearn, that is my story. And so even when I was in college, I got this vision of like leading women, which was really crazy because I couldn't even speak in front of people, y'all. Like, seriously, I think I've said it to y'all before, but my grandma Mary told me, I can't believe you do this Plexus stuff and you get on your Facebook, because do you remember that interview you did on the news? Like, you couldn't even talk. So I was like, yeah, grandma, I do remember. Thank you. But it's a compliment, you guys, and it's where I've came from. But I had this vision of leading people, but that other conflicting narrative was that I could never lead people, that I'm not confident, that I'm not assertive. And so kind of leading into Plexus, I never knew this was going to be a platform that all of these things that God planted were going to come to fruition. I had no idea. Actually said I would never do network marketing to my friend. I was like, I would never do that. You know, I could never do that. And here I am. I also said I would never marry a military guy, and I did that too. So kind of like where I was looking into the Plexus business. I had been on the products and I knew they worked. I had been on the products since my first trimester. They made a huge difference in my health and my pregnancy. And I started to watch my friends go before me, and I started to see them do these hard things and be successful. And that's really what got me dreaming. And I realized they gave me the permission to start dreaming again. And so these are all these like seeds that were being planted. And at that time, y'all, I could not see, like when I envisioned my marriage and my family, I just saw a life of limits, like kind of like what Tova said. She talked about limits and settling. And that is literally the life that I saw. We would have pre-deployment leave, post-deployment leave. And I'm like, how do people afford to go places? How do people afford to get a hotel, even if it's just 2 hours down the road? We could not just grocery shop, y'all. Like we could not just go to the grocery store. We could not buy super healthy things. We could not just go out with our friends and have dinner. We were literally paycheck to paycheck. And I was like, man, this life is hard. Like, does it get any better? And so I really started to dream. And I remember having a conversation with Julio. We were driving back from Publix to our rental in Georgia once we moved. And I was like, oh my gosh, can you imagine if I was a Jewel? Like, this is how much they make. Oh my gosh, even if I was a Ruby, but I could not believe that I could actually get there. And then here I am, it's like, oh my gosh. And I've started to notice that by me stepping into what God has for me, by me doing the hard and scary things, by me dreaming and pursuing and being fearless, y'all, there is freedom, and you don't settle, and you do step into the abundant life that God has called for everybody. Because money really is all the way up there with oxygen. And if you don't like, I know sometimes people are like, oh, to want to have money, that's bad. To be in love with money, yes, but money is a necessity, even if you want to give back. Because all I could do was give my time. If I wanted to do at church, we used to do at Christmas time a shopping mall. And I was like, well, I can wrap gifts, but you got to bring the paper, I'll wrap it though. But now it's like, yeah, let me give back. I have the resources now, because you have to have resources for anything in life. And so now that I am stepping into my calling and leading women, it's so empowering to bring people along and to watch them start to be like, wow, I don't have to live this way. Doesn't matter how you grew up or how much you have to unlearn. God does have something for your life, something big. You have a calling, you have a purpose, and you're the only you. And so when you start to step into that, like, there's just nothing that can stop you. All of that dreaming and that passion and all that, kind of like what Natalie said, it won't go out, because that's what drives you on those days that it's not so sunny, when you're really in the valley, on those really hard times, because it's not always harvest season, right? There's going to be those seasons where you're planting, where there's a drought, all of these seasons. But literally, this is the why that gets me out of bed. So no matter what, it just keeps me going, and knowing that I'm bringing people along with me, and really that I'm fulfilling like my God-given, like the calling he put on my life, which is crazy, that because I would have never envisioned, hey, one day I'm going to, join Plexus, and that's how all these things that God put in me, like that's how they're going to come to fruition. So anyways, yeah, that's a little bit about my why. And sorry that my voice is so bad.
Wow, Kylie, that was so good. And y'all, I'm Nicole Morellis. I am a Ruby ambassador with Plexus, and that in itself will bring me to tears to even say, because that's the first time I've gotten to say it. And to kind of piggyback off of everything Kylie was saying, exactly to the T. I started this whole journey in a really low valley of my life. It was back in October of 2022, after me and my husband miscarried our third baby. And I had zero belief in myself. I didn't see any of like my God-given gifts and talents. I didn't really see what God had for me in my life at that point. I just I just wanted to feel better. And so I got on these products and they started making me feel great. And so my why at that point was just to get my products paid for. Um, all the while I had Natalie Dolan just like whispering in my ear about how much she believes in me and all the things she saw in me that I was so blinded to, and I didn't see them for myself. I didn't see the dream, like I didn't see beyond my current situation at the time. And so once I began to take the products and I was getting my products paid for, and I started sharing, I saw how many people needed what we were offering. And I still didn't really believe in myself at that point, but my why began to grow, just like all the other leaders on the team have been saying, you know, I truly believe as your belief grows, your why grows. And so at this point, I'm like, okay, people need this, and I just want to help people feel better. That was my driving why. I would wake up and want people to feel better. I wanted them to feel how great, even, you know, they were making me feel. I wanted that same thing for them. And so as my business started to grow, and as God started connecting all these dots with me about my passion for fitness, my passion for health, my passion to serve people, my deep desire to financially help my husband. He's a military guy as well, along with a lot of the other leaders on this team. And so I just had this passion to give to my family as well. And so as all of these things, as my business started growing, God just started growing my why more and more and more. And I just saw how lucrative this was becoming. I saw the needs that were being met by these products, and I saw how everything that Natalie had been telling me started to like ignite in me. And there was this one call that Natalie Borges did, and she specifically spoke about generational blessings. And from that moment on, I started to really dream big. I saw this opportunity in a whole new light. I was just, me and my husband dream bigger than we've ever dreamed before. And it's just, man, for me right now, sitting where I am, and seeing how this is doable, when you are, you know, surrendered to the call that God has on your life, and you just do it afraid, and you just wait on the Lord to provide for you. Just all the things that have happened in my life up until this point, I just give all the glory to him, because I would not be here if it wasn't for him pushing me to take this leap of faith, for him bringing Natalie alongside me to really speak into my life. And you know, now my why is to help others believe bigger in themselves and for themselves, because that was what was given to me through this opportunity. And it's just a really beautiful thing to have women speak so much life into you, especially in a really dark season of your life when you can't see beyond your circumstance. And so um I've just witnessed God's faithfulness. I've witnessed women rallying around me, and I want that so bad for other women. I want that for other people who feel lonely or feel like they don't know where their life is headed. And but yeah, that's my driving why: to be debt free, financially free, time freedom, not only for myself, but while I'm pursuing that, helping other women achieve that as well.
Hi. I don't know why they put me last, because I'd be talking more than anybody else. Um, but my name is Stephanie, and I'm a senior Ruby ambassador with Plexus. And I actually went and got out my why that I wrote first, like months ago, because I thought it was pretty funny to compare it. You can even just see on the page, it was like just the most basic thing. And then today when I wrote it, it was like completely different. So that was kind of cool to see. But I wanted to read you my mind frame in the beginning. So I literally start off with Natalie makes me journal, which isn't my thing. But since she said to, I will. So like literally was just like, okay, Natalie's forcing me. But I wrote down my reasons, which I'm so glad now that I did, because they didn't change, they just deepened. So my reasons were to help my family financially so I could be home more, share health with the community around me, physically and spiritually, and have the community of women like me. And then at the end, I wrote this go round, because I had been around one time before. I'm going to be trusting the Lord, not myself, and taking my time and just doing it for fun. So that was kind of my mind frame. And the reason why I say that was because before I was so like in single mom mode, and I just felt like everything depended on me, and I was just so stressed out, and it was just like, I can't right now. I just wasn't like in a good mind frame, and I really believe that it just wasn't the right time. And so all of it fell off, even though it was all the women that I love, it just was like, this is not my time. And so then this go around, I was doing great with hair. Unfortunately though, it's a time in the world where unless you're a celebrity hairstylist, it's just not the same. Things are so expensive, people just don't have the money. And so we were just joking at work the other day, like we're out here doing hair because we love it, not because we're out here making all the money, contrary to popular belief. And then share health with my community. Obviously, health has been a journey I've gone on for years, trying to figure out what's the right formula for me. How can I get healthy? Because it never was seeming to happen. Coincidentally, I was never consistent on my product either. So there you go. The third one, community of women. So I was definitely in a place being in Colorado. It was the first time I was away from family and friends. I've always been in Fayetteville. So I never felt a need for community. I had all my family, I had all my friends. I'd gone, literally, my parents met at me in a church. Okay. So I've been there from the jump. So I always had community, and that wasn't something foreign to me. I was still friends with all my friends from high school. Like it was fine. So moving to Colorado was like a huge difference for me. First of all, in the middle of COVID. And second of all, I didn't know anybody, didn't have family. I didn't know anybody, didn't have a church. I was like a fish out of water. And so for me, it's so important to have women around me that, you know, you are who you hang out with. So for me, it was really hard to find women in Colorado, unfortunately, that had the same values that I did, that people I would want to be okay with influencing my children, that I would trust my husband around. You know what I'm saying? Like you just don't want to be letting anybody into your home. And I was having a hard time finding that here. And all the women that I looked up to, that I wanted to be like, that I love so deeply, were all doing plexus. So I was like, well, I guess so. Why not? I just want to hang out with my friends. So that was kind of like my why in the beginning. So that's really what kind of motivated me. Was I loved the community so deeply, because I don't feel like people understand like how rare it is to have women like that, and that are just also focused on not building themselves only, but other people. That is not common. So I love it. It like fed my cup. My schedule's full now of friends all the time. I was like just so happy to just be doing it. So then when, you know, my business this go round, I literally just prayed to the Lord, like, I'm already so happy. Like this has already brought me everything I wanted, which was my friends. So if this is your will, then you're just gonna have to show up, I guess, because I'm good. Like, I'm fine. Natalie's like, what's your goal? I'm like, in 2 weeks, you know, because that's her. Okay, we got 2 weeks. What's your goal? I'm like, to hang out. Oh, what's your goal? You know, like that's my goal. So I was just praying, God, if this is your will, man, like I need you to show up. If it's not, no pressure. I'm still having fun. You know, let me know if this is not for me. And then it took off. It was just like, I could barely keep up. I got these messages and they're not even superficial. I mean, these are people who are really hurting and people that I've known for years. And I knew that they were hurting. So it was just like, oh my gosh. And within a week, probably of Natalie asking that question, I'm like, okay, my goal is like maybe go by Leaders Retreat. And I just started seeing, the vision. She's like, wow, that's a really great goal. Definitely doable. Here's how we're going to do it. And so then my why started to change a little bit. I'm like, okay, this is happening. I think that God is in this because this is like rapid and kind of like the floodgates and I need everybody's help. And so then my why changed a little bit. It was still, financial, but then the financial part of it became alive in front of me. It was still about my family, but then it was like, wow, I really can step back from work a little bit because I have this other income coming in and being able to be with my family. And then I was helping people like before my eyes. So then my why just deepened. So it probably wasn't until I hit senior gold. I think that was like 3 or 4 weeks in that I was like, whoa, the paycheck came because it had finally been a month. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was able to tell my husband like, hey, I paid off your credit card today. Like your little one that we've been paying off. Like, why did it take so long? I don't know, but like I paid it off. And I also paid off mine and our bills are paid. Like, it was just like insane. And he was just like, what? And then it deepened even more like, wait, same thing like that Tova was saying, like freedom was just like what I was getting was like, oh my gosh, I can be free from all of this. Like worrying, same thing, like, oh, I can't visit my family, because that's just too much money for 6 of us to go. We're going to have to save it all just to go for the important things. People getting married and that was about it. Things like that, like Christmas, having to have a budget, asking the kids, what's the one thing you really want? Because that's probably all I'm going to be able to do. And then being fine with it, but it just makes you sad, not you want to give the world to, having a friend in need, like Kylie was saying, and being like, well, I can use my hands and that's all I got. But to being like, hey, do you need groceries? Like, I want to do that for you, and feel good about it. Be like, you owe me nothing. So that's what like started flashing before my eyes. So once I hit senior gold, I made the decision and I had shared it, with both the Natalies, that it was like Diamond was plan A. There was no plan B. Like there's no plan B. Faith is plan A. And that's the only one I'm sticking to. And I'm determined. There's every day I'm going to wake up and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do whatever it takes. Because at that point, my why had just become like this to like explosive. And it was still the same thing. But like Tova said, digging into those layers of it, it had just gotten so deep to where it was like, I would feel like I wasn't even being my authentic self if I wasn't doing this head on. So once that changed, writing my why down now, every day I get to talk to my absolute best friends. I never get sick of it. I love being social. I love sharing intimate things with people. That's how I personally connect. Surface level things don't do it for me. So I love being able to immediately talk to somebody and they're telling you the most intimate things about themselves, which is their health, things that they're so insecure about, and then being able to just off the bat speak life into them, and be like, hey, we don't have to even talk about that anymore because that's over. Today, from now on, it's different. And I love being able to just, even in conversations, it never gets old to see it change, even in just, the consultation parts of it, and sharing those victories and sharing those testimonies. I actually love to journal now, which is completely different than the first journal entry that I posted or wrote in. I love people getting second chances. I love seeing them thrive and, having that money, not having to message me anymore saying my card might decline. They're not doing that, being able to be happy that they're getting more product now and sharing it with their friends. And I just really, really love that. I have a cousin. My cousin that Kristen I posted about, she actually has like really serious health issues for a long time. And in September, I had talked to her dad, and he was like really almost in tears telling me about them, you know, and his words were like, one day this could kill her. And, you know, and it was just like, whoa. And I wanted to reach out to her so bad, but I was scared because I didn't want her to feel like I was taking advantage. And then praying about it, immediately her messaging me. And now she says she's felt the best she's ever felt in her life. Like her health is totally turning around. And for me, just knowing that, you know, that could prolong her life, like on this earth. Those kind of things are what I'm here for. So I ended my notes with also I was praying about it during my fasting day yesterday, and God just brought back to me. I've had 2 different prophecies spoken over me, both concerning women, and feeling like this was what it was talking about. The first one was when I was a little girl. Michael Fletcher, if you know, man, I know who that is. And he prophesied over me to my mother and said, you know, I had this vision of Stephanie and her husband, and people were just going to be flocking to them for what they had. They had something that people needed. They were just going to be flocking to them. And it wasn't going to be even because what they had was like something nobody's ever heard of. It was going to just be because of who they were, that people just wanted to be with them and wanted to partner with them. And growing up, I held on to that, man. I was like, there's a man out there for me. Michael Fletcher said it. So I always just thought like that's what I held on to, but I just never put that together with like Plexus, you know, I just didn't know what that was going to be. But now seeing like kind of what's happening, I'm like, man, I think this is it. Because even my husband at work has people, his guys are like flocking to him, calling people in their home state, like, you need to get this stuff. And I'm like, what's happening with us? Like, we're not even out here doing anything different. You know, we're just being ourselves. And so it's like exactly everything that he said. And I was like, you're right. Like, whoa. And the second one was when I was pregnant with my son. It was a lot of stuff, but the main part of it was, he said the same thing, that he had seen this vision of me with just ministering to women, like more than I could count. And he said it wasn't a ministry though, how we think of ministry. He was like, it's not a ministry in the sense of like at church, you have this ministry. He was like, it's just going to be a ministry, you know, specialized to you. It's going to be your ministry. And he was like, but God's going to move. And so both of those were brought to me yesterday during my fasting time. And it just, that's when I was like, boom, that's my why. Like, that's my why. It's always for the Lord. It's always for his glory and always to do what he's called me to do. And so anytime that you align with his favor, his goodness, his provision, his refinement, his discipline, it's going to have a lot of emotions, but you're always going to feel at home. And that's where I feel out with Plexus.
Oh, Lord. All of this. I mean, if y'all don't feel pumped up right now, then I don't know, you need a pulse check, because all of these stories are just like, wow. And so I do have homework for all of y'all. Everybody else, I want you to intentionally rewrite your why. Maybe you did it a while back. Go and do it again. And once you've done it, send a picture of it to your sponsor so that somebody else knows. If you want to tell 10 people, go ahead and tell 10 people. I don't care, but just get it out there on paper, written out, because there's power when you write it down. So that is everybody's homework. And sponsors, y'all hold your people accountable to that as well. Okay. Because this is so important. And so thank you guys just for being here, and all the leaders for just sharing your why. I know that's vulnerable. And so I think it blessed this whole team. And man, this is why we do this. All of these reasons. I mean, this is something that you can do and be so, so proud of, because this is such meaningful work, you guys. So, all right, y'all have a good night, and we will see you on Thursday for Know Your Perks.